that's maybe something I'll do when my mom passes away. It'll be like a part of the healing process. I have these other people that I love so much and they depend on me, and I don't want to fuck all of this up for thinking that I want more and that there is more. I remember at one point just was screaming like, I don't want to be so fucking afraid anymore.
Welcome to Still In It, 5-MeO DMT stories. I'm your host, Arthur. Whether you're curious, preparing for your own journey, or reflecting on past experiences, we hope these stories resonate, inform, and inspire. Please enjoy today's episode.
This podcast is brought to you by Enfold, offering the world's most comprehensive 5-MeO DMT program. To learn more, visit enfold.org. That's enfold.org, or click on the link in the show notes.
Jen, it's so nice to see you again. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy to have an opportunity to talk to you, really.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so it's been coming up on 4 months since you were here at Enfold.
Yeah.
Probably a big question, but how has life been since you left?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's like there is life like pre and post. And those are like very defining moments or like defining feelings and like ultimately beautiful and really great. Life continues to happen. So obviously there's like ups and downs, and integration, there has been ups and downs. Like it's not everything solved, no problems, but generally like so many positives, so much gratitude for the experience. Almost feels like there's just a different set of lenses that I have access to and an ability to like utilize now. So things feel more beautiful and I feel more present in those things. And the things that are struggles just feel more manageable and more like they're not really struggles anymore. They're opportunities to use tools that I have now. Yeah.
Was there something or a number of things in particular that called you to this experience? You know, things that you were looking for acute support with, or was it a more general sense that there was something for you here at Enfold? Yeah. How did you end up here?
Yeah, there's a bit of both. Steve and Austin, we have some mutual friends in like different circles. So for quite a few years, actually, Enfold and Steve and Austin, like their names had kind of just been like floating in the ether. And it had always been something that like perked interest for me. That seems like something that would be a really cool experience. In my mind, I like had this idea of like when I would do it. And a mutual friend of ours who has also been to Enfold, I ran into her. We have one of those beautiful relationships where it's like you ask somebody how they're doing, and instead of you're like, oh, good, or yeah, so whatever, like immediately it's like, this is happening. That speaks a lot to her. I'm sure most people who have a relationship with her would say the same. But the universe put us in the same place in November, and we started talking. And there had been a few things like going on in my life in the last little while. I'm a mom and a business owner, and, you know, there is life, but I also have a brother who has stage 4 cancer and a mom who has advanced dementia. So those were things that were like, it's almost like extended grief or like grieving somebody who is still here in a way. And I was just trying to navigate doing that correctly, I guess, or like doing it in a way that maybe caused the least amount of damage as I like kind of navigated this. And in my mind, Enfold was like, had been floating around. It was like, that's maybe something I'll do when my mom passes away, when she's, you know, and it's like, and then I can deal with, it'll be like a part of the healing process. And our dear friend, we started talking about that, and she had recently just come back from Enfold, and somebody who would never place their opinions on you, she like reached over and grabbed my hand and said, you might not want to wait, or like maybe don't wait, you know, don't wait for like these things to happen. And like the best advice I think I've probably ever received. And so that really kind of like solidified like, okay, this is something I need to like seriously consider. And then weeks following, I got a text from her as well that said a space had opened up in one of your intensives. And I remember I was sitting in the sauna and I got the text and I just started crying, just like, oh, I was like, okay. And she said, I really think this space is for you. And I had a very weird relationship with time before. So it was like, it was a lot of like, I don't have time to do this. I can't do that. I don't have time. I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. And that was like my first reaction is like, I don't have time. And I came in and I started talking to my husband and he knows about Enfold and he had heard about our conversation and all of this. And I was like, I don't have time. And he looked at me, he's like, you absolutely have time. Like, explain to me why you don't think you have time. And like, he just completely broke down all of my reasons as to why I don't have time. And he's like, all you have to do is say yes. And like, so wonderful, to have a supportive partner like that. He's like, all you have to say yes. I'll book your flights. I'll get it. And I was like, okay, yes. So it was wanting to, and also just this feeling about like, I have this beautiful life that I've been building and these children that I love and this partner that I love and a job that I love. And just this feeling like, okay, these pieces are together and they're here, but like, am I there too? Like, is there this feeling that there's more? Like, I can go deeper. I want more out of this.
Beautiful. Do you recall, Jen, because of course, you're here for 5 days, like the first big shift or big experience that came up for you, in your time here, whether it was in the low dose meet the medicine ceremony or the Sangha ceremony or, wherever it might have happened. Are you in touch with that at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The container that you guys create there, I could speak for days about how beautifully curated the experience is from everything. The sound is perfect. The smell is perfect. The sheets are perfect. Everything, so beautifully curated, which just like really it does it for me big time. But it was definitely I was blown away by the sharing right off the bat. Like the openness that people had already gotten to when they arrived, that they're like, I'm here to share my trauma, my wounds, the things I'm not proud of. That was very profound to me. In the first low dose, I remember taking my first hit and, like you're laying down and I started crying because I just had no idea it was possible to feel that good and that safe inside my body at all. Like, no, I would just like the fact that it can feel safe in here and good. And oh man, I just was like, whoo, like so elated that is a thing. And even now it's like that door has been opened. So, I may not feel like that 100% of the time, but I know there's a path and I know it's possible. And like, that alone was a huge gift.
And is that something that has endured in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a matter of like, sometimes it leaves, but the access to get it back is so much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Before we hit record here, we were briefly touching on the Sangha ceremony on the Tuesday with the relational sharing and exploration of what was going on in each person's life. And could you say anything about that? Because it seemed that you were maybe really touched by that.
I think we spend a lot of time alone as people and we try and do a lot of healing alone, or I personally have. And there's just something quite beautiful about this experience and doing it with other people, which to be honest was like a bit of a hesitation of mine. It was a shared room. And I remember being really hesitant about that. I'm like, I'm an outward facing person a lot of the time, but I also like very much require like alone time and cherish alone time, and also have previously done a lot of my like healing alone, but that has been very conscious. I can talk myself into like, it's okay, this is life. And that's alone in my head, where this experience of joining other people made the healing just feel so different than what I had experienced before because of the openness for people. So, I mean, to be starting that day at the top of the mountain overlooking the ocean, and then just to come back to the ceremony space and hear people on a level that there's no shame, there's no embarrassment, there's no ego, that just got left. Yeah, it was just, I think, the safest place I've ever experienced in terms of sharing, which really special.
Yeah, what do you think was available in that group space that wouldn't have been available, say, if it was just you, Steve, and Austin?
I think other people's experience and perspectives. There's just something about, a larger group that it's like a larger litmus test for like humanity, that you're like, okay, this is the human experience. And despite the fact that each person in that group was struggling with different things and different things had happened to them, it's the human experience of hurting and struggling and grieving is common. It's common. And then the experience of wanting to love and be loved is also not unique, Like, oh, there's some real common themes here. Yeah, that group aspect is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, we like to say here too, and it stands to reason that most, if not all, of the ways that we've been wounded in the world have come in relation to other people. And so it makes sense that, the healing of that or transforming those wounds would also need to happen with people. There's only, as you touched on, so much healing that can happen in isolation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And even like with sharing a room, like, oh my, like the other woman that I shared a space with, like, I mean, so grateful to like go back to your room and have your person that you're like, whoa.
And so the Wednesday full release ceremony, something that a lot of people consider the main event or the marquee experience. Yeah, what are you open to sharing about how that was for you?
I have to be honest, I was terrified. I was really afraid. My first conversation with Steve when I was planning to come, he had asked me, he's like, what are you the most afraid of? And I was like, well, I have a beautiful life, like I would be, gosh, like if something happened and I couldn't come back and my brain got fried or I died or, all these things that like I have these other people that I love so much and they depend on me, and I don't want to fuck all of this up for thinking that I want more and that there is more. And I have had experiences with psychedelics before, but nothing on like this level. So I was scared of like the medicine itself. But again, like the way that the week is set up, I mean, you have so much trust in the process and so much trust in Steve and Austin at this point that like we've come all this way, we're here. So I'm afraid, but I'm diving in. And I think what was the most surprising to me from that ceremony is that like previous to coming, I'm like, oh, I'm dealing with this weird obsession with time and death and some anxiety and grief, around loss. And some things came up in that ceremony that were so deep down that they weren't really even floating in my realm of like when I'm writing and I'm doing the pre-work before coming to Enfold. It wasn't something that I was like, this is a huge issue in my life. A lot of it was like letting go of masculine energy and like toughness and being armored up. A lot of like actual shedding. Like during my ceremony, I expelled a ton of heat. Bless that fan that Austin has. But it was a lot of like almost like physically trying to like get things off of me. And it was like shedding this masculine energy that it doesn't belong to me. I don't want it. This toughness that I felt like I had to have, this feeling of like it hasn't always been safe or valuable to be a woman, that became very present, that was something that I was dealing with, that I just like, upon reflection was like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, that was like a huge surprise to me. This like desire to like just not be afraid anymore. I remember I at one point just was screaming like, I don't want to be so fucking afraid anymore. So it was just like this fear of the unknown, the fear of dying, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear, all of those things that just add up. And it's just like, I don't fucking want this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Get this off of me.
Yeah.
You know, and there's something really beautiful about having Steve and Austin in that space, that there's this like, there is this masculine and there is this feminine. And the beginning of like when I'm like shedding and like wanting to get away from this masculine, I was spending a lot of time with Steve, and he gracefully played this role of the masculine for me in my story. And it was just like kind of almost like pushing him away and shedding that off. And then this after kind of realization that like, remember at one point saying like, oh, it's in me, like it's in me. And this like real feeling that like everything that I'm looking for and every answer that I want and I have it, it's in me, you know? So like that just felt like a huge relief. And then the second half like was with Austin, and this like coming into this feminine energy and this place that it's like, it's safe to be a woman. That concept was new to me, and that it's valuable to be a woman, and it's powerful to be a woman. And like another thing that came up was like previous, like when people had spoken about like ancestors, and I mean, I've had conversations, I've heard conversations, I've listened to things. I've had no experience on my own with that. So that just kind of felt like a concept and not something that was real to me. And I just had this overwhelming feeling and like even a visualization that like there was just thousands of women like around me. And it was like, oh, we've been here the whole time. We're just, we've been waiting for you. We've been here the whole time. Come home, kind of thing. So like that.
Wow.
Yeah, really. I mean, it is very hard to explain what a full really ceremony is like. Part of it is like being strapped to a rocket ship, I guess we've said a few times, and then you leave this place. But like, I mean, at one point for me, I was in this space of like beautiful warm colors, and it was like a surface with no edges and like the most gorgeous, warm, safe, beautiful feeling you could ever conjure up. And that has really like in terms of like death and time and, you know, my mom on the end part of the journey that she's having in this life, like I just keep reminding myself, I'm like, oh, well, if it's that, if that's where we're going, then we're okay. Then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to be just fine. Yeah.
We're like, full send, girlfriend.
She's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Gonna have a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Jen, that reconnecting with your feminine side, how has that changed how you show up in the world, whether that's for your kids or as a business owner, as a partner?
You know, it's really interesting. Upon reflection of coming home, I started seeing that like I was doing a lot of things out in the outside world. Like I am very motherly to the people that I work with, to my children, to my friends. That is something that I have outwardly been doing. I own a very feminine store. So it was like, I walked into my bathroom one day and I have this beautiful sketch of like a naked, voluptuous woman on the wall. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I was putting all of the pieces together I'm building it all. I just wasn't living in it. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's more that I'm just like living in it now. Now I feel true in the role. And it's like maybe less of a power struggle in terms of feminine things, whether it's like the typical like mothering or house stuff. I have way less resistance to that because it doesn't feel like a devaluation of like myself, you know? So it's like I can do those things more in the fact that like I want to do them. I want to pick my kids up from school. I want to make them dinner. I want to wash their little, you know, cute outfits, get them dressed in the morning. You know, it's like all these like gender roles or whatever it may be. It's like I don't have to overthink it. I just want to do it because it feels good to do it. Some things have happened and then they're almost comical when you look back and you're like, oh, I saw that as a struggle and it was actually just an opportunity to step in to where I really wanted to be. But yeah, I mean, the fact that like a lot of things in my life were already quite feminine made a lot more sense after.
Yeah. Putting the pieces together without knowing it.
Yeah.
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 Is there anything that maybe opened up through the intensive or your experience here, Jen, that you're still working with or still unpacking? Or any part of this that's maybe an extended part of the integration process?
Oh no, I'm completely healed.
You're done. You're fully cooked.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that this experience, if you let it be, could be a really wild, eye-opening 5 days on a beautiful island, and then it could be that. But I think we've had conversations, and with our group, it's like, what do you want to do with it when you get home? And that almost feels like the work. Like, not that it wasn't, it was definitely work when you're there, but like the work really does kind of feel like it's happening after. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff continues to come up. I have barriers around like effort and work and slowing down, that like this feeling like, do I deserve a break or do I deserve to like slow down? Because like if you're not working or producing, then like this abundance and this beauty of life will be taken away. And it's just this reminder that like I'm worthy of enjoying life. I'm worthy of slowing down, and like it's okay to not be producing all the time or working all the time. So that's been interesting and really nice. It's really nice to slow down and actually doing it. Like making sure that I do meditate, making sure I do go for a walk. All of that stuff like previous was like, I don't have time to do this and I got to do this, and this before I can do something for myself or take care of myself, because then like I'll deserve it. And it's just the opposite. Like if I take care of myself, I will be in a much better place to take care of other people, and I'll enjoy it. And it won't feel like it's coming from a place of like resentment or I'm drained or, you know, a lot of things that parents and people that are caregivers feel. I think we've all been told this so many times, but we have to put our own oxygen mask on first, and it is wildly true. Also, I would say like things that come up as a struggle now just feel like almost unavoidable. Like whereas before you're like, oh, okay, quiet down, like over there. They're so obvious. Not to say that everything I can deal with right away, but it's like just a lens that if I'm like, I'm trying to avoid that or I'm numbing out, that's like, okay, that's not actually how I want to approach this. So yeah, I would say like there's still work to be done, but it just feels more approachable at that point.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
My last question for you, Jen, is if you could tell your past self a piece of advice before heading into the experience at Enfold, or you know this prolonged process that you're still very much in, what would you tell past Jen as your current self?
It's going to be great. It's totally worth it. Yeah. Absolutely dive in. And there's a really beautiful experience awaiting you. And then the things that can come out of that experience are also very beautiful. So put the fear aside and and go for it.
Yeah, don't let the fear guide you.
Don't let the fear guide you.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thanks so much, Jen. Yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting with you as always, and appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, buddy. Really nice to see you.